What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Remnant 2 video, guys. In today's video, I'm going to break down everything that was added in the new patch update regarding the Legendary Prism reroll and all sorts of changes that they made here recently in the October 17th patch. So without further ado, let's break it down. Alright, so first things first, we have of course, the big news, the Legendary Prism reroll. So for those of you that have gotten the Legendary Prism, we can now re-roll it. Just the Legendary Factor though, that way you don't have to re-roll the whole Prism, which is a nice update. And they also increased the XP gain, required you to go from 50 to 51, which is whatever. The dev note said that players can now reroll only the legendary segment on their prism, in addition to rerolling the entire prism. This is done with a different button, depends on console or PC. The Chef's Medal no longer triggers empathy boss affix, so if you guys were using that, then you're not basically hitting the lose button when fighting those bosses with that, if you're using the Chef's Medal. Fixed an issue where players could see other sessions for boss rush as valid, though they were not joinable. This would result in a collection lost message after attempting to join. Fixed an issue where players would not credit for hardcore or other type of kills on various world bosses, which is a very nice fix. Fixed an issue where players could potentially miss achievements, trophies for NPCs in the Dark Horizon, which is also a nice touch. The dev note for that was if you received the appropriate item related to the achievement, trophy, or spark, the custodian or the prototype talking to them again should unlock the related achievement trophy. Fixed an issue where players could get stuck in a loop with McCabe attempting to get the Great Black Sword. The dev note for this was players who were stuck in this state should just need to ask for is it done, then run outside to the warehouse to the World Stone, then return back and ask again. Fixed an issue where players would not share in Sparks alloy related rewards that used quest items, and fixed an issue where loading into zones would sometimes swap out handgun for long gun and vice versa, which is a nice. So that is all the general fixes for this update. Moving on to the next one, which be the archetypes. So we have fixes for the engineer, handler, and the invoker. Starting off with the engineer, we fixed an issue where impact cannon was calculating stats at the wrong time and resulting in numerous issues, which yes, that was a big thing. Handler fixed an issue where handler skills to be executed without going on cooldown, and the invoker fixed an issue where invoker prime perk visionary was not calculating cooldown reduction correctly. So those invoker builds should be good to go now. Now moving on to weapons and mods, we got quite a few here, so sit back. We have clarified Black Greatsword mod text for the Indomitable weapon mod onto the Black Greatsword. The max damage has not been changed. This was just a text clarification to represent the actual damage. Fixed an issue where Monorail and Redeemer were not scaling correctly. I don't know if this has to do with maybe more damage or less damage, but those should be working correctly now. Fixed an issue where Star Killer's base damage was incorrect. Fixed an issue where Extender Meta Gem was not working with Monorail, so that should be fixed as well. Fixed an issue where Monorail's overdraw shots were not counting as charge shots for sequence shot and closed loop, so those should be working properly as of right now. Fixed an issue where Genesis Bow projectiles could show up as misaligned for clients with slower connections. Fixed an issue where Detonator was not proccing correctly when equipped with Provisioner's Ring, or when his ammo is added via Range Dummy or World Stone. Fixed an issue where Big Bang mod damage when combined with Power Trip Prism was scaling damage times 10 instead of the intended times 5 amount. Fixed an issue where Sorrow's mod Eulogy was not receiving damage buff from Spellweaver Harmonizer Mutator. Fixed an issue where Hypercharger Mutator didn't increase charge melee damage for the Dark Matter Gauntlets while using Darkness Beam. Fixed an issue where Sealed Resin Loop allowed Monorail recoil animation to be evade cancelled, so can no longer spam that again. Fixed an issue where Darkness Beam from Dark Matter Gauntlets persisted after 10 stacks of Rage animation from the Challenger archetype, causing an invisible beam to deal significant damage to enemies. So all of those issues should be fixed and addressed. Now, moving on, we have the trinkets, mutators, and relics. Fixed an issue where Shiny Hog Lore was not giving mod power to long gun mods. Fixed an issue where Pressure Point Mutator level 10 bonus was not triggering with Twisted Arbalest mod, so that should be fixed as well. Fixed an issue where Endaria's loop was not reliably working only while sprinting. Fixed an issue where during combat all quick slot consumables would become unusable if the player had the feeding tube equipped and a value of 0 for the left most quick slot item. Fixed an issue where space crabs were not dealing the appropriate amount of damage, and fixed an issue where reaction chain did not correctly provide the correct amount of mod power to stowed weapons, which is actually really nice because I actually just did an explosive archer build with this amulet, so that should be working better as of right now. Now, we did get quite a few changes for boss rush. So increased boss rush XP rewards from 1.0, 1.15, 1.25, 1.5 to now 1.0, 1.2, 1.5, and 2.0. So we should get even more XP for those apocalypse runs. Readjusted boss rush scaling for all difficulties. Made minor balance adjustments to some aberrations affixes. Increases damage of Hexer Pylon power, increases effectiveness of Stave Pylon power, added AoE stat interaction with Lightning Pylon power, increased Detonate Pylon power, and enabled interaction with explosive scaling. Fixed an issue where client players could potentially receive scrap as a reward instead of an item if the host already had all of the items of the specific reward type. Fixed an issue where players could be pushed off the map while viewing stats at the end of boss rush and need to restart the game. Fixed an issue where kill nearby enemies pop up text was appearing behind the aberration health bar, making it unreadable in boss rush. Fixed an issue where sometimes buffs would skip a level when upgraded in boss rush for clients. Fixed an issue where when inside the glitch puddle of the boss rush buff trapper, engineer turrets would take damage from the player's puddle. Fixed an issue where it was possible for 2 aberrations to spawn in boss rush unintentionally. Fixed an issue where if plasma cutter was used in annihilation fight in boss rush, potentially the firing sound would persist until fired again. Now, we did get a few changes to some enemy types and some bosses. Fixed an issue where Annihilation's orb attack was doing too little damage, which I don't know why they had to change that, because I hate that damn attack. Fixed an issue where Annihilation's invasion attack was still spawning mines and visual effects upon death. Fixed an issue where Red Prince's tribute kill in hardcore mode would leave players stuck on the ground if they had Black Cat Ring equipped. Fixed an issue where Dran grenades would explode several times when they hit Monolith's Sandstorm mod. Fixed an issue where Anguish explosions were not damaging Lydusa, which that's a good one. Fixed an issue where Alepsis Tor reverb laser could remain in the boss, transitioned into the final phase during the attack. Fixed an issue where the 3 blue homing lasers would fire at a singular point instead of homing in on the player. Fixed an issue where Alepsis Tor could continue to fire the white screen projectiles when it transitioned to the final phase. Fixed an issue where the root horror would sometimes vanish instead of dying. Fixed an issue where the Ravager's ground wave attack was set to the incorrect damage type. Fixed an issue where Amalgam would sometimes freeze on the ladder when player drops down to the ladder during a chase. Fixed an issue where Lydusa's wall phase was lasting too long on higher difficulties, which thank God that was fixed. Fixed an issue where in rare circumstances the Nightweaver could spam her projectile attacks even if she died. So we did get some changes to UI. Fixed an issue where it was not clear that Dream consumables can now only be used in campaign by adding restricted to campaign use only text to description. Fixed an issue where Mud2 Snake Oil cooldown was not updated on tooltip when using Ring of the Castaway. Fixed an issue where the Cotton Kiln was listed as the Ethereal Manor on the minimap until you died. Fixed an issue where Legendary Relic Fragments didn't have a +1 on their label. Fixed an issue where the Voidlight descriptions had a misspelling. Fixed an issue where Pirate Combo Prism was displaying incorrect colors. So some quality of life changes there for the UI. And for the audio, we got fixed an issue where the Dark Matter Gauntlet's charge loop sound effects could potentially play indefinitely. This actually happened to me on stream. I think the last stream I did, it was like the very beginning. I was in the middle of boss rush and this was just playing constantly over and over and over again. Fixed an issue where Perfect Shot sound effect was not audibly falling off correctly, so glad they fixed that there. And last but not least, of course, we got a ton of miscellaneous fixes. Fixed an issue where sometimes Month 2's DLC 1 dialogue would continue to trigger even after completing it. The dev note for this was forgive Mudtooth, sometimes the stories just take a hold of him and he can't remember which one he told and which one he hasn't. Fixed an issue where if players were able to acquire cooking rewards outside of Dwayne's interaction as a client and receive the chef medal from him, having the recipe materials later could potentially cause Dwayne to not correctly update his dialogue. All that time over a hot stove hasn't done much for Dwayne focuses or memory. Fixed an issue where the incorrect skybox would sometimes show up in the Rude. Fixed an issue where if players lost access to meat shake, egg drink, or numbing agent, if they have the correct ingredients to make them, they can now re-engage with Dwayne to restart the quest. Dwayne is always down to cook something, even if he's done it before. This guy loves cooking. They always have issues with freaking Dwayne with these new concoctions that they add into the game. Fixed an issue where players could get locked in T-pose while doing a melee attack and swapping mods on the slow connection, which hasn't really happened to me. Fixed an issue where simulacrums were not spawning in parts of the Dark Horizon, which, yeah, I never really found any in the new DLC. Fixed an issue where the medic's jacket could get stuck inside the player's body during certain attacks. Fixed an issue where the gunslinger's cape could get stuck inside the player's body during certain attacks. Fixed an issue where players could get stuck in statue form after getting backstabbed by a certain character in the Forgotten Kingdom storyline if the player had Black Cat Band equipped. Fixed an issue where using a skill, then throwing, players could potentially be locked in place. Fixed an issue where minions would sometimes not correctly zone with the player. Fixed collision issues in various locations that allowed the player to get out of the world or get stuck. And lastly, fixed an issue where visual effects would sometimes turn off completely. So if any of these miscellaneous things happen to you, these should all be fixed, guys. So I was hoping to make this video nice, short, and sweet instead of doing like a 40-minute long video of just me scrolling through the page, you know, trying to keep it clear and concise for y'all. These are all of the patch notes that were updated as of today on October 17th. I will put this link in the description below if you guys want to take a look at it for yourself. And of course, guys, if you guys want more content for Remnant 2 coming your way, make sure to drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel, guys. I'd love to have you join our community, join our Discord, and also visit the links down in the description below if you guys want to get early access to videos such as this one. I'd love to have you guys. Thank you for all the love and support for the Remnant 2 videos, guys. I can't wait to make more build videos and just more content in general for our community. Again, guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see y'all in the next video. Deuces.